Are you struggling with hair loss? Well, before you give up and start rocking that bald look, get yourself a box of Novaxidil. It's the only clinically proven triple action hair loss treatment on the market. It has 5% minoxidil, which is the gold standard for regrowth. But minoxidil alone will not prevent further loss. For that, Novaxidil uses DHT blocker ketoconazole with added nicotinamide, vitamin K, biotin, and collagen peptides. Basically, every single ingredient you could possibly think of in one product. So stop rubbing peppermint oil behind your ears and get something that works. Maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's Novaxidil.
All my European bodybuilders, this is a great supplement line, americansupps.com. That's American-supps.com. They have a great lineup. Believe me, you won't be disappointed. Go to their website, use discount code SAS10. They have an extensive line of supplements and workout gear. SAS10, americansupps.com. You will not be disappointed. All right, I got a great guest for Serious and Silliness Outcasts, the amazing, beautiful adult entertainer, Brittany Andrews. How you doing, Brittany?
I'm just fantabulous. Besides, like I said, just having incurred massive amounts of plastic surgery because what happens? Men buy cars, women buy plastic surgery. That's what we do.
Yeah, it's the truth. I know. Believe me, I know. But
and I think many of us in my business, we get addicted to it.
I'm sure you do. But it's. I think it's a different. Like, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but now this kind of, because you have the internet and social media and OnlyFans, there's kind of so many different ways. There's so many fetishes that girls could go into, where it was kind of like years ago, the fetish thing was more of a dark thing, and only the young girls are really being picked up. But now you could do the MILF thing, if there's the obese thing, there's just trans, there's so many ways to make a living, and guys are paying out the pocket. So whatever you're doing is working, that's for sure.
I'm still just getting used to seeing myself. I'm like, that is such a small nose. What the fuck happened? I feel like I got a Michael Jackson nose now.
So you had your face done.
Yeah, I had a facelift, a neck lift, rhinoplasty, eyebrow lift, the whole 9 yards. So Everything's looking very weird to me right now. And I told him to give me a different kind of nose, but this is not Amazon. I can't fucking go to Whole Foods and just say, hey, can you give me a different, I asked for this and yeah. So it's very tiny. I'm kind of feeling like Michael Jackson right now, but
Well, and I could clearly see a difference from when I met you in New Jersey, but it really looks good. It looks great.
Thank you. It's only been a month.
Okay.
It takes 6 months for everything to kind of really settle in. So
okay. How much plastic surgery have you had? What kind of other surgeries have you had?
Girl. I've had my tits done 3 times. And one of the 3 times, the last time I got it done, I got something called necrosis of my areola, which that's where your nipple is. And I literally had to take a pair of scissors at one point because the whole thing turned black and it died. And I had to take a pair of scissors and cut my nipple off. I bent over, cut it off. It was like rolling down my bathroom floor. I had to pick it up and throw it in my bathroom garbage.
Oh my God.
And then for a while, that whole fucking tit just looked like someone had taken a blowtorch to it. And it's like, well, what do? And the thing about it is that like I've been doing this for a really long time. For your viewers, I got it in 1991. So I'm in my 50s. So the bitch should be doing some plastic surgery, just saying. So I'm in my 50s, been doing it for 34, going on 35 years now.
Okay.
And yeah. So I there's so many women that have so many horror stories in this business of like different plastic surgery, like things that have gone bad. I kind of, I felt as though I handled it really well. I was like, it was, I did it in 2020. I'm still working on fixing it all these years later. I'm still getting it tattooed. I had to have nipple reconstruction. Yeah. Well, no, at first I had to have nipple reconstruction surgery where they literally made a nipple from like the inside of my breast assist.
Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of girls that have had similar things happen to them. I just tell it in a very harsh, frank, crass way because I think it's kind of fucking hilarious at the end of the day.
Yeah, it is actually. Okay.
It's like, well, that didn't go right. Now what do we do? So there's like a whole era of my OnlyFans content where I was just shoving lots of things in my ass and wearing a bra for everything. And sometimes the beaten up nipple would come kind of out and you could see it. And some guys started making fun of it. And some of them are like, oh my God, I have a new fetish. I love it.
I
like,
was going to say that. I guarantee it's unbelievable.
talking about a lot of different fetishes. Yeah. So, fuck it. I mean,
Well, I'm glad your boobs look good, and I'm glad your nipples are back to normal.
All right,
so.
can I show the boobs, or is that not good?
No,
Oh,
you
like,
can't. Yeah, no, YouTube will definitely demonetize.
All right, we'll keep the nipples, and there's other places your consumers can find the breasts.
100%, absolutely. If you don't mind me asking, how much do you think you've spent on plastic surgery over the years?
Definitely over $100,000. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Was there anything? Is there anything that you did that you regret, or you were like, that was a waste of money, or anything like that?
Yes. Me and my girlfriend were just talking about this yesterday. So one of the things that they do consistently, like if you're a skinny bitch, is the only place they can harvest fat from you is your thighs, right? So I have butt implants now, but before I did the butt implants, I did the BBL. But the concept of a BBL is they take fat from other parts of your body and shove it into your ass. Well, if you're a skinny bitch, it's not really going to work, right?
Right.
But I did it anyways. And so being that they keep on hitting up my thighs for my fat, like it just, my thighs, I'm not happy with my thighs whatsoever at all. But I'm like, I don't think I'm really willing to do what it would take to fix it, even though I've done a lot to fix a lot of things. That's just like too much. Like that's why I wear a lot of stockings in my videos. And it's really funny because Nina Hartley said, she's an older bitch than I am. She's been doing it longer than me.
She's got to be in her 60s, right?
Yeah, as far as I know, she retired during COVID. And I think on the female side, I'm the like longest running porn star with
really?
I think Shay Sipes coming like as a second.
Okay.
As both of us are from the 90s. Like there's other bitches that are like older in the business, but they didn't start. Like I'm talking about like the marathon.
I see.
Not the sprint, not the age, but like how long since when you first started to still actively in it now.
Right.
So I think once Nina Hartley left, it was like, oh, okay, that leaves me. I'm the oldest bitch up in the house. Been doing this long, guys. Anyone else around? Oh shit, no, that's me. Okay, I'm the next one. Okay. But she had said, you know what, at a certain age, when you've been doing this for a certain amount of time, like you have earned the right to do certain things. And she said,
absolutely.
She's like, wearing stockings is one of them. However, I work with, I'm constantly shooting for my OnlyFans and all of the other, I'm constantly shooting for all the different fan platforms, right? And, you've always got like custom orders and all this other kind of stuff. And then I have all my stuff on clip sites as well. And so my camera woman, she showed me, she's like, you can't see all that funky stuff that you think you can see. And she's like, you're actually making your legs look worse, putting them in stockings than if not. And I was like, yeah, because you know what, like when you wear stockings, quite often they're not, they kind of suck you in at the top of your thigh, and then your fat kind of hangs over it, even if you are a skinny bitch. And it can just look weird in different positions with that fat kind of hanging over the top. Like they really should make, like, it's like the same thing with like women with wearing bikini bottoms. Like we get these little muffin things all the time, no matter how skinny you are, because they make them too tight.
You know what I think? Here's what I think. I think women are their own worst enemies. I guarantee you, no guy is looking at your content going,
no, not even.
Guaranteed.
That's like, I've gone through it with the breast assist, right? So, so I had the issue with the breast assist. I said, you know what? I'll just shove more things in my arse. And guys were like, yeah, cool. All right. Not a problem. Right. And I had another friend of mine who's got really big breasts and she's known for the big breasts, but she's also got the butt implants and everything. And she was freaking out. And I was like, just shove stuff in the booty, boo. And like, I can't do it. You know, I was like, whatever. She was freaking out. I was like, I just ran with the punches, right? Like, life is going to life. You're going to do, as I always say, right? As a woman that's known to be the pioneer of pegging. And for your editor, you might have to bleep this out. When you're in ass, you're going to get ass, right? So
Okay.
you can't be afraid of anything that goes in or comes out, right? You know,
Okay.
like, it's just going to happen.
I
And if
understand. Like, oh
yeah,
yeah.
if you're gonna do plastic surgery, like shiznit is gonna like things are gonna go wrong.
Okay.
That's the nature of the game. Like you got to be like mentally prepared in some way to be able to wear Michael Jackson's nose when that's not the nose you asked for.
Yeah. You know what I've noticed about women in the adult entertainment? It seems like the ones that truly embrace it, like and like this is who they are, and they have no qualms about it. I've interviewed like somebody like yourself. I've interviewed Ginger Lynn. I've interviewed Sarah J. They seem to be the most successful. It seems to be the girls that kind of are like have this inner fight with if they should do this or not do it, which is the ones they kind of try to mask it with drugs and alcohol, and they're in the business,
changing
out
their
of the
names, they're
business.
leaving,
Right.
yeah, because they get a boyfriend or whatever,
And then
and
they go
yeah.
on a podcast and cry that they were too young and they didn't know what they were doing, and you know, I didn't make any money and all this crap, and it just seems like it seems
And I
to me.
wouldn't say that that's crap because that is their truth, right? And I think that that needs to be respected. That is their truth. Not
It is,
everybody,
yeah.
and not everybody is made for this, right? You know,
Exactly,
some of us old
exactly.
bitches like me and Sarah J, it's just it runs in our DNA.
Yeah, no, but I've
Like
honestly,
there ain't nothing.
even like somebody like Nina Hartley has been, and so that's just, it seems like there's no in between. Either you completely embrace it, like somebody like yourself, and you are really successful at it, or there's just
I
this,
think there's some in between. I
there's some
do
in
think,
between.
yeah, there
Yeah.
definitely is. I think I definitely think that that's one kind of individual that ends up in the business. But I think there's a
Mhm.
lot of bitches that kind of come in just for fun, don't stay that long, and then they leave as well. Like they don't make it their whole lifetime career or personality. Like they get in for the fun and then it's not fun anymore, and then they leave, right?
Yeah.
So I think that there's a bunch of, or some just come in for the money, they get their money and then they leave.
Yeah.
Some, you know, like there, you know, when you've been doing it as long as I have, there's like 100 different kinds of personalities that are in this business, and they do what they do. Some are sad, just like in
Mhm.
any kind of business, right?
Well, I was going to bring that up to you.
Yeah, that
That
there's an
viral clip that just
opportunity. Yeah, like there's an opportunity for exploitation, right?
right.
So this is definitely a business that there's an opportunity for exploitation, just like in the music business or, you know, any of these kind of businesses where if you're young and you get into it and you don't have a strong back, a strong understand, you know, you got to be a smart businesswoman too.
Oh, you
Straight
have to
up.
be sharp.
Sarah
Yeah,
J
absolutely.
is a smart bitch, right? Like same thing, Nina Hartley, smart bitch. Like
Yeah.
you can, and especially nowadays, right? Like I have a friend of mine who's been in the business longer than I have, who's a paparazzi photographer. And he tried to set me up because he was like, you know, who do you think is better, the new girls or the older girls? You know, thinking I was going to say, you know, oh, the women from the golden age. And it's like, no, because back then all you had to do was go on set and and then
Yeah.
go home, right? Where now you really have to understand
You have to put
the
in work.
cameras, editing, lighting, doing your own hair and makeup, understanding all the different platforms, the different features, algorithms, you know, not just the
Yes.
platforms like
Yeah.
OF, but, you know, all the other clip platforms, all the social media. You have to understand SEO. You have to understand just content organization, content management alone
Right.
can be
Yeah.
like someone's whole career. And like, we really have to wear 1,000 different hats in order to be successful in this day and age. So you really can't not be a smart biatch and be successful in this business
Oh,
anymore.
I couldn't agree more, because what was it, you hit the nail on the head. When I interviewed Ginger Lynn, she said in her heyday during the late 80s, early 90s, she was signing contracts for, triple, six digits.
Yeah.
And then I interviewed a girl who relatively broke into it relatively soon, Gigi Dior, and I asked her what her money was like, and she said she gets anywhere from 600 to 2,000 a scene, and
Yeah.
it's a vast difference. She said the majority of her money comes from OnlyFans and
Yeah.
social media and so on and so forth. So yeah, you have to be very, very well adapted to today's environment in order to make a lot of money. And what's funny is that that's not just adult entertainment. A lot of these major companies realize that you can make money on your own if you get exposure, and then they use exposure as a form of currency.
Yes,
I'm gonna,
absolutely. That is a
yeah,
form of currency at this stage in the game,
yeah.
100%. Like I can say I've been in the business for 34 years and I'm a legend, two-time Hall of Fame, and list my whole freaking resume. And then somebody will look at my Instagram and say, "You're a nobody." And I'm like, "What? What? Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
all
it
right,
is
I'm a
is this
nobody."
is this also true? I interviewed oh God, what is her name? I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Another person in your world. Um and she actually said that a lot of these major online companies, they pull girls from social media. They pull
Yes.
girls from OnlyFans. They pull girls from Instagram models, OnlyFans models, and the girls go into it thinking, "Oh, well, this is going to be the beginning. This is it. I'm getting my major breakthrough," and they make some money, and then you kind of never hear from them again, or they don't do the work that somebody like yourself does to stay relevant. That's pretty accurate.
Yeah, and to keep the money coming in because yeah, just like you said, it's easy to be new and fresh and
Yeah.
young and everybody wants you. But then what about 5 years later? What about
Hmm.
10 years later? What about 20 years later? What about 30 years later? How do you get people to stay interested in who you are and what you have to offer to the point to where it makes sense on the bottom line of your P&L?
Mhm. So how did you do it? How did you
people
stay
don't
so?
people yeah, people don't like something that men, women, we all like fresh, new
Oh
variety.
yeah,
It's a spice
absolutely.
of life, all these different kind of things. So if you're I'm sorry, Sophie, Bella's on my lap. I've got multiple puppies over here that
That's
want
okay.
mommy's attention. If you see this one, she's so darn cute. She's stuck.
Actually, hold on. I'll show you mine. Give me a second.
Eh, come here, Sophia. Come here, baby.
I got big dogs though.
Oh, you got big dogs. I got little
Yeah.
chihuahuas. All of mine are she was from a high kill shelter. And then the other one was a foster fail over here. I got her last year. And my kitty was a foster fail too.
Mm.
I do animal rescue as well.
Jolene. Jolene.
Where's the babies? Where's
Yeah.
the
There
baby?
we go. This one is come here.
Let's see that big girl. Is that a big
That's
girl?
Jolene.
Oh,
And
look at
then
that big
and then
face. Oh,
and then
goodness
this is
gracious.
and that's Ralphie.
Oh, Ralphie, they're so cute. What kind of dogs are they?
This is Jolene is a Conne Corso and Ralphie is a Old English Bulldog.
Oh, adorable.
Yeah.
Adorable.
Okay, you can go
Yes, what
back
was
and
I
play.
saying? I know you had a question and
Oh
I forgot.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. How
How
do you
did
stay
you
relevant?
stay so relevant since the early 90s? Because it is very difficult. It
It
is
really is.
very, very difficult.
And actually, I'm doing a whole seminar on this at XBiz that let me look at some of my notes real quick here because hold on here. I should have been bringing this up when you were looking for your babies.
That's okay. Go ahead.
But yeah, there's a lot of different aspects. Okay. Oh no, that's not it. Oh, where did it go? I thought I had put it to the top. Let me look
There's
up
all
some.
there's also I've noticed that there's also um and I don't know why there's also a lot of girls that are from your generation that still do OnlyFans and still do like webcamming and still do social media, but they don't want to do the hardcore stuff anymore either. They're like, they're
Yeah.
not used to do that anymore.
Yeah. So, okay. So a couple of different things. I can't find my notes, which kind
It's
of is
okay.
annoying.
Mm.
But yeah, one of the main things is you have to constantly reinvent yourself,
Mm.
right? So there's a mantra that I've been doing for like over 20 years, and I touch my throat chakra. I was just telling my makeup artist about this, and it's a Louise L. Hay affirmation, and it is, I'm willing to change, I'm willing to change, I'm willing to change. And you see so many individuals that don't, and this is regular life, adult life, anything, a CEO, an entrepreneur, right? If you are not willing to change, you are going to get left behind in the dust,
Mm.
especially right now, technology wise, with AI and all these different things. Like when NFTs came out, that was in 2020. I sold over 100 of them by the end of the year,
Mm.
and so I've always been very much into emerging technology. And so you have to be willing to change. You have to be, and I think it goes back to kind of what I was talking about before of my flippant attitude about a lot of things. Like you have to like make fun of yourself a bit, right? Like you can't take yourself too seriously.
That's
So if you get too,
as the name of my podcast.
yeah, so it's like you can't get stuck in being like one certain way, because that's never going to last. That's never going to give you longevity, right?
Mm.
So you have to be willing to reinvent yourself, your brand, your logo, who you are, what you mean, being humble at the right times as well. Like I see so many models in this business that are really successful, and I think to myself, bitch, that ain't gonna last forever, because it never does.
Yeah.
So be nice, because you're going to be hitting the curb before you know it. And you're going to be crying about how nobody will give you a second chance, or nobody will hire you. It's because you were a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course it's
Nobody
everybody
wants
else's fault, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, nobody wants to help you. So when you're at the height of your career, be kind and nice to everybody, because you won't be there forever. You're
Okay.
gonna have to pull favors. Don't be burning any bridge, right? Don't let your head get too big, because yeah, it never lasts. And it's painful
Mm.
when you've been really popular, and then you're not, right? And then you have
Oh
to
yeah.
figure out, like, how do I try to become popular again? And it can be really, really, really difficult to get in the favored graces of the universe
Ah,
and the
right.
business. You know what I'm saying? But I think, besides all these other kind of marketing aspects, like once again, it goes back to being a smart bitch. Like, do you understand business, right? Like,
Mhm.
I've owned businesses, and I had, at this point, I've got like over 30 employees. I've got like 3 to 4 different businesses that I run, and I've
That's
I've
fantastic.
been like that since I've been like 23, I
Yeah, yeah,
think,
yeah.
right? And so I didn't go to high school. I didn't go to college, right?
Hmm.
But I started owning my own businesses from a really young age. And, I had one assistant when I was like around 21 that said that he used to love working for me, because I'd figure something out and then I'd apply it right away.
Hmm.
Right. It's not like I learned anything from going to school, and then, and I mean, my entire life, I've had people with masters, bachelors, all this stuff working for me, and I never even went to high school.
Yeah, it's not
Right.
even. Yeah, it's right. Yeah, I fully understand where you're coming from.
So, and I feel like once you know how to run a business, you can run any kind of business,
Hmm.
right? Like you have to just understand the basics of like how to start a business, how to like hire, good people, what is the organizational infrastructure of your team. And,
Hmm.
you have to understand finances, bookkeeping, management, all these different things. And if you really know how to run a business, you can come in, you can have the graces of relevancy fall to the side of you being talent, but you can still always run shit from behind.
Right.
And when you're running shit from behind, you're not desperate, you got money in your pocket. It
Hmm.
allows you to be able to make better reinvention choices for your talent self. Right?
Hmm.
Because now you can afford the plastic surgery to reinvent yourself. You're not desperate. You don't have to take any job. You can take the jobs that can kind of help you move forward in a way that's good for your brand.
And then I would assume that you being out of the limelight for a little bit and then coming back, that would kind of spark an interest too, wouldn't it?
Yes, I think
Okay.
it definitely does. But once again, you've got to be very humble, right? So I
Mhm.
left for 10 years and everything had changed in the business. You know, porn stars are not really the bee's knees anymore. You know, it really
Mhm.
is like these, you know, models that are making $43 million a month on OF, right? Like those are the successful ones. And so I was like, you know, I went to AVN and the fucking Jesus. Anywho, the red carpet takes like 4 hours to do. Back in the day,
Really?
you red carpet. Oh yeah, I've got a whole ticky talk about the whole thing, and it's on YouTube as well. And I explain like the whole process of like how it used to be and what it's like now, and it's just
Mhm.
insane. And I'm like, who the fuck are all these people on the red carpet? You know, like it's
Mhm.
you know me and being my old bitch self. Like it's just supposed to be porn stars, right?
I
You
hear what
know,
you're
and
saying,
I had
yeah.
to humble myself and go, bitch, you are not the bee's knees anymore. The cameras are, the, you know, like you have to recognize within yourself, like, you know, okay, my time is up. I'm not relevant right now. Yes, maybe I did this. Yes, maybe I did that. Maybe, you know, all these different things you know about yourself. But you have to be able to find not humiliation, but humility
Mhm.
to be respectful and know your place, even though you might be a legend, right? Like sometimes you just got to like take the knee and be like, you know what? It's not my time. It's not my place, right? And I think that that is a huge part of also being able to handle like the ups and downs of where you're at. Because otherwise, if your ego gets too involved before you even get a chance to redevelop your brand again, your feelings get hurt, you're depressed, you know, you got to not take yourself too seriously, and you have to respect the ebbs and flows of life and where you're at with it at that moment, and be in acceptance and be okay with that, and just recognize, you know, you're not always going to be at the top, and to be okay with that, and to enjoy. And I know it sounds very cliche, but enjoy the journey instead of the destination, because once you hit the destination, you're going to get fucking bored again, and then you're going to want to quit.
I couldn't agree more. You're absolutely 100% right. It's happened with my own podcast. So you're 100% right. What kind of businesses did you run? So you said you had some when you were very young.
Oh, I've had so many over the years, right? So, I've ran multiple booking services for other porn stars.
Mm.
I've done fan platform management for other adult film stars. I used to have a 5,000 square foot studio downtown LA that I rented out for photo and film. It was like one of the top like adult studios for like 15 years in LA back when I was younger. And then like right now, like some of the other businesses that I have a traffic business where I sell traffic and I buy traffic. So that's like a separate business that I run, that I have managers and employees working on that.
Mhm.
I'm starting another business of like where I'm getting into novelty toys, of where I'm doing the design, the manufacturing, and the distribution of it. I also have like real estate stuff that I do that's like a separate business as well. And even like as a film star, each one of the different things that you kind of do sometimes can be like almost like separate businesses, right? So if you're like feature dancing, camming, you know, being talent for films, like all of those are very like separate things that you
Mhm.
do. On my taxes, though, at the moment, I've got one, two, three, four. I got the real estate, the traffic business, the booking service, and the oh yeah, and then Brittany Andrews, which is the talent for films, and then all of the, I call it the e-com business, being all of the platforms from the clip sites to the fan sites to my Brittany Andrews official website, and then the tube sites too. So that I didn't start until COVID happened. I wasn't online at all, because I just gotten back into the business after, taking my hiatus for a decade. I took 1 decade off. And then I came back in and I was like, I really don't want to get on any of these platforms until I get my relevancy up. So I was like, let me shoot a bunch. And then once I'm kind of not so fucking dusty.
Beer League Warriors apparel. Great clothing for the gym. Great clothing for any workout you do. It's that dry fit that everybody likes. Good quality, great prices. Support small business now. Don't buy from Nike or Adidas this week. Get your clothing from Beer League Warriors apparel. Just go to beerleaguewarriors.com. They have a great selection. Believe me, you won't be disappointed.
Then I'll jump on these platforms and the universe is like, no, bitch, you're going to do that now. We're shutting everything down. And then it kind of worked out too, because when I had retired, after I'd had my studio and I had been producing, and I started producing and directing back when I was like 22 or 23, a little bit before I built my studio. And but I never had any official training. So I bought a fake high school diploma and I went to film school for 3 years.
Now let me ask you, because are all these businesses in LA that you're doing now? Are you still in LA?
Oh no, I'm in Vegas. So when
okay. Because I've been hearing some horror stories about businesses in LA moving to Texas, Florida, Nevada, because the same thing is happening in New York too.
Yeah, there are a lot of regulations in California. The taxes are very high. I've had 2 California audits. I've had a employment development department 3-year case. I've been through it with California. Mind you, I love California, and I've actually my first California audit, I came in with my bookkeeper with all of my files super organized, and they were so amazed that I was so having my shit so together that they actually told me different ways that I could take more off.
Yeah. I've actually, I mean, I don't know. This is the first time in United States history that the majority of major financial institutions are not in the Northeast anymore. They're kind of done with it. Yeah, they actually moved down to the Midwest, Florida, Texas, and I don't think it's just financial institutions.
Also,
I think it's major.
Rent is expensive.
And what's funny is that these politicians, they just don't learn. The ones in California and the ones in New York, they just don't learn. It's like you realize you're driving business and people away.
But people will still always go there, though. I mean, because at the end of the day, who doesn't love California, New York?
Oh, no, to visit. Absolutely. No question about it.
But I mean, people are still going to move there because they are hubs. I mean, I think if you're a young person, the best thing you could do for yourself to move up the ladder financially wise is to move to a big city, right?
That city seems to be Miami now. That seems to be the big city now, where people are going. No, you don't think so? You don't like Miami?
No, not on the West Coast. I'm not because you're in Jersey.
Yeah, I'm actually with you. I don't like Miami either.
Yeah, no, I love Miami. I'm just saying, I feel like New Yorkers, they all go to Miami because it's on the East Coast.
Oh, yeah. Right? Okay. Yes.
They do that 3-hour trip back and forth.
Yes.
But you ain't hearing no motherfuckers from the West Coast saying anything about Miami now.
That's right. Good point. That's right. I want to ask you some fun questions. We've been talking a lot about business. I want to ask you some fun questions. And then we will talk about the drones in New Jersey, because I know that's what you want to get into. Okay. Just letting you know, people in New Jersey have no idea. There is absolutely no actual idea of where the last thing was. It was Iran, and the mothership was in the Atlantic Ocean.
But the Pentagon already came out and said that it wasn't.
So we don't know. But
let's know it. Okay, wait, we won't go there yet. All right, we'll wait till later. Right. Don't get me started. Don't start bringing it up in it.
All right, hold on. We won't get okay.
Doing the fun stuff first before we get into aliens and UFO.
I've asked all the every major adult film star these questions, actually.
All right.
Okay.
Give it to me, baby.
How did Viagra and the trimix injection change the adult entertainment? Because you were there prior and you were there after.
Yes. Oh, honey, I can talk about this all day and night. I love it.
Go ahead.
So when I first got into the business, we had what was called Good Woodsmen, right?
Right.
And so there really wasn't, old bitches on film like myself now, just did not exist really all that much. There was no Mrs. Robinson was the only
That's right.
When you hit like 30, bitch, you were out, right? Except if you're Nina Hartley, that was it. And so, so it was like men that were a little bit older than you and like 20 something, maybe like 30 something year old guys with 20 something year old girls. And that was kind of the vibe. And maybe the guys got older as well, because it was very difficult to find a guy who could, do the job of on time and then do the job of giving it to you. Given the money shot within 5, 4, 3. I know now we've got the whole, JOI thing. But, before then, it's a very difficult thing when you've got, especially back then, we were shooting on film. It was a very large crew, and everybody that was on crew was like fat dudes. And then a bunch of guys doing meth that were doing the lighting and the grip and, That was normal back then, right? And
because you only had the same like 5 or 6 guys in every movie.
There wasn't a lot because guys,
it's not easy.
Job. Yeah, exactly. So what happened was cable. So Spice TV, Playboy TV. And so women were like, those guys are ugly, right? And so there was more couples programming that came out for all of these like softcore hotel distribution, the Skinamax, like all that kind of stuff, right?
God,
and so the good-looking guys started coming in right around the time that Viagra started happening, right? So now you've got, once again, you've got guys that are probably in their 30s or 40s that are working out, they're looking good, they know their body, they know what they're doing, and they, might have to snort some Viagra on set, right? Because a lot of times, you were like, okay, that didn't work taking it. Let's just do you a line of Viagra right here. Let's kickstart this shit, right?
Yeah.
So that was then, right? Then you started having old bitches up in the house, right? So now you got the whole MILF and the GILF thing going on. And who are you bringing to work with the MILF? Well, all these kids that they're not kids, but they're, adult young males that are like 18, 19, 20, and they ain't got no clue how to use their editor. Right. So they don't know how to use it. They're too young. They haven't even started like really knowing how to be with a woman. Right. It's not like a 30-year-old man that's figured it out and knows some moves. It's a 19-year-old boy who's just in business because he's skinny and got a big schlong and he looks nerdy.
Right.
This kid ain't got a clue.
Right.
So the agents that were starting to recruit and find all of these young boys to do these MILF scenes with women like myself were like, oh my God, the only way that we're going to be able to continue this kid having a career is to start using the Trimax, right? So then there was one particular agent that really was having all these young guys that, were really fitting the look and getting the contracts with like Brazzers and all that stuff. And they were just like shooting it up right from the beginning. Right. But then, so, and a lot of these directors that have been in the business as long as I have. And the amount of time that we have all wasted in our life waiting for a guy to be able to do his job on set is enormous. And all of a sudden the directors were like, you know what, I'm paying for location, like I don't want to wait, right? And then now that you've got like all of these clip sites, you got like ManyVids and Clips for Sale and I Want Clips and like, and the tube sites, right? Like things have changed. It's not like a 90-minute film like it used to be on DVD or VHS or even, a 1 hour that's, for like the Skinamax and all that kind of stuff. It's like these little scenes. And so some directors, really started like trying to do like, oh my God, like 7, 8 of these like little scenes in one day. well, you can't expect the guy to, give you the money shot 7, 8 times. So then they started, faking the cum shot, which in my,
Jesus, I didn't know that.
oh yeah, all the time now. Thank you, mother goddess she. And so, in my day, like if a guy would even think of that, it would be like his manhood was being questioned. Right now, it's like, great, we can all get the job done and go the fuck home, right? That's what everybody wants to do. Get the
What do
job done
they?
and go
What do they?
home.
Do they actually use a particular solution or something?
Oh, yes, there's all different ones. Oh my God, right? So in my house, I've got, because depending on whether it's inside of you, outside of you, in your mouth, inside your vajayjay, it all has to have different pH and different tastes. And so there's like 20 different kinds of things depending on where it's coming in or out of, right? So one of them is like creme de menthe, right? And so I've got that in my refrigerator, and that's for the in the mouth bust nuts, right?
Yeah.
Because it tastes very good. And so it was so funny. I have a friend of mine who's like 65, a psychiatrist, right? And I had like a little birthday party at my house, and I see her clumping down the mint stuff that we use for, and I'm like, oh my God, that's from my fake busting up for porn. And she's
Oh
not
my
laughing.
God.
Everybody started laughing.
Wait, so now when somebody watches a scene, is it more times than not that it's fake, or is it occasionally we have to use this?
It really kind of depends on the scene. But like if it's cream pie, like a lot of those are fake. Like I don't do any real cream pie. All of
Okay.
mine are fake, right? And I feel like almost pretty much everybody that does mini vids and all of those, they're fake, using tons of fake stuff to give all the stuff. I do as well. And
Okay.
then yeah, like at the end of the day,
So let me try to
wait.
Go ahead,
Let me
go ahead,
just
go ahead.
go back, right? So once you start using this Trimax and Caverjack, it becomes more
Okay.
difficult to bust a nut, right?
Yeah.
So, you got what you need. It's hard, but now they can't come. So everybody has now decided that we just prefer for everybody to shoot their dick up because nobody wants to wait around for somebody to jerk off in a corner, sweating to death profusely for 20 minutes while they're trying to get their dick hard. So now all the directors are like, oh my God, it's so much better to shoot your dick up so we can keep things moving, right? And then the guy can't bust a nut. So it's like, yeah, let's just do a fake cum shot.
I can't
Love
the cum
I
shot
love
thing.
it.
This is
I love it.
so let me try to
Yeah, and then the thing about it is too, right, is the way that almost all the companies shoot all the big companies, right, is they shoot the hardcore stills before they shoot the actual video. So that
Okay.
way you and the other performer can figure out like, okay, this is position 1, position 2, position 3. Usually there's 3 to 5 positions that you and your partner figure out that you're going to do so that when the camera is actually rolling, you know which position to go to. You just repeat what you did when you were doing the pictures. And when you're doing the pictures, you can talk about, okay, yeah, do you want to do this position first? And yeah, like we can figure out like what angle is best with the camera. And you get everything sorted out so that once the cameras are rolling, you can kind of just have like a good, nice flow going from position A, B, C, D, right? And then they do the money shot as well in the pictures beforehand. And so that's always been, fake. And that's Cetaphil. They always use Cetaphil. That's the Cetaphil, not the lotion, but the soap.
Wow. Okay. So I understand the cream pie. You kind of you could actually see it. It kind of you could see it. But when you actually have to have what looks like an ejaculation, how do they fake that?
Oh, it's super easy. There's many different ways of how the guy can jerk it. And then there's different types of ways to use a condom that's got the fake cum shot stuff where it's or also there's this other thing that's like a duster for a camera that's got the tiny little, and you can fill it up and it's a squeezy thing and you can hold it with the penis. Yeah.
It doesn't
There's,
even seem fun anymore.
huh?
It doesn't even seem fun anymore. Like, because like regular guys like me go, my God, that would be such a great career to have. You just bang
Yeah.
hot girls, but you're really not. You are, but you're not
It's work.
finishing.
It's work. You know what? And it was so funny, right? Because I'm actually engaged at this moment, and I've never been married before. And I started throwing my significant other into some of my scenes. He's a skinny old bitch, but he's got a proper sized cock, right? So we just threw him into the mix, and he can never come, right? And so, he started complaining because, I get him girls all the time because, you don't want to ask the chef to cook, dinner and once the chef comes home, right? So I get him bitches all the time. And I'm always like, yeah, I'm like at the end of the bed, and after they're done, I'm like, do y'all want some sandwiches?
Okay.
Sandwiches. I got some sandwiches in the kitchen. But so he never is able to come doing the scenes, right? And so he was complaining about it one time that he just preferred when I got him the girls instead of throwing him into the scenes because he never gets to bust a nut. And I said, honey, I've been doing this for 34 years. Do you know how many times I've been on a set and they've asked me if I came or not and made sure that I came? Not one motherfucking time. So
Yeah.
get the fuck out of here with that bullshit and go ask somebody who fucking gives a fuck because it's not me.
All right. Now, okay, hold on. All right, let's back up a little bit. You're the guy, the young kid who's doing the scene, and
Yeah.
and he can't ejaculate, and it's fake.
Yeah.
What happens when the director goes, okay, we're good, cut? He just walks away with a hard on.
I don't care. It's not my business. They called the cut. It's a wrap. I'm out of here. I'm packing up my bag. I'm getting my check and I'm leaving.
So, but what does that kid do?
What about me? Like,
Just
how many
pole
times
vaults
have
into
I
the
left?
next room?
How many times have I left a set being so fucking horny? So fucking horny it hurts. Because the guy that I was fucking had no idea how to fuck me.
Yeah. Well,
I don't give a
know.
fuck
I
what
guess.
happened to that boy.
All right.
That's
All right.
not a problem.
All right. Next question. No, you blew me away with the fake ejaculate. I never heard of that.
Really?
That's
Oh,
I
yeah.
have never heard of that.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
Well,
Thank God. It makes everything so much easier now with the shooting the penis up and the fake
wow.
shots. I love it. We can
Wow.
just get everything done in a timely fashion and go home.
Yeah. No. In that way. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay.
And you can shoot a lot. You can shoot a lot over and over again
Right.
for all
Right.
these
Right.
small clips that you got to do.
That's amazing. All right. What is your limits? What is your absolutely no? I am not doing that. No, we're not doing. Are there any like fetish things that you're like, not touching that? No way.
Oh, well, I've had a poop double before.
What do you mean?
So I did a film and I didn't realize that there was going to be a scene where there was going to be scat involved. And I said, oh, no, I don't do that. And she said, oh, it's fine. Just sit on the toilet. We'll get a close up. And then, then we'll get, then we'll have a long shot that we'll cut to. We'll put somebody else in there, go back to the close up, get the scat, and then we'll put you back in. So I had a poop body double.
So poop. You won't let somebody poop on you. But
I was pooping. I do mostly femdom, so I was the one doing the pooping.
Oh, and you were like, no, I can't take a shit on this guy.
Yeah, I'm not really into that. And she was like, yeah, no problem. We've got somebody else that'll poop on him.
Is there anything else like?
Oh, you know what? So I worked for Hookup Hotshot. And they are the most interesting company to like work for because I've never seen this. So when you go to work for them, they've got this list. So typically the way that it works in the business is you have a list of what you will do and then like how much you charge for each thing, right? So that's the way it's always been. But they have a whole different thing. They've got their own list of what they will give you if you choose to do these different acts, right? So if you do golden shower, if you do vomiting, if you do scat, like all these different things, they have a price that they'll give you if you do that. And then if you do all of it, you get this one big, huge price at the end. But if you're not comfortable with doing everything, you can kind of pick a la carte.
Yeah, right.
I've never seen that before. So I think the one thing I didn't do with them was vomit.
Yeah, I would hope so.
There's obviously a bunch of other girls that are doing the vomit, and I've got nothing against anybody. Whatever floats your boat, you need the money, you like it, you find it a fetish, you think it's hot. Like, I think a lot of weird things are hot. So I'm not judging anybody.
All
But
right.
personally, I'm like, it's kind of violent on the system, and I'm trying to
Yeah.
have a good time here. I'm trying to enjoy myself.
Right. Right.
Like,
Right.
I don't really want to like get medical, but not like a fetish medical, but like, oh, like
Yeah. I
it's
can't.
just
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. I
I
don't
love
blame you.
golden shower, so I did the golden shower. I'm willing to do the things that I enjoy,
Okay. All right. All right. Good. Okay. Have
and I'm
you
willing to
ever?
do some things I don't enjoy, like reverse cowgirl.
Why don't you like that? Why is that a?
There's not a bitch on this planet that likes reverse cowgirl. It is so difficult to do. And
Really?
especially if you ain't got a male partner that no, I have literally stopped production and looked back at this young kid and said, has no other bitch told you how to do your job? I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, Mistress Mommy is here. Give me a second. I got to teach this kid how. And I remember I was in Miami, I think, shooting for Reality Kings or something like that with one of these young kids that got the big freaking penis that's like 19 years old. Nobody stopped and shown this kid how to do his damn job.
Right.
And part of doing reverse cowgirl is the guy is supposed to help you with because you're backwards on the, with your, just up
Gotcha.
and down, right? So it's a great shot for the camera if you've got a lot of breast assists. So I
Right. Right.
always
Right.
have to do it, and I get it, right? I do it for
Right.
my own productions because it's a really, I get yeah, but it's not fun to do whatsoever at all. It's miserable, right? And
Okay.
so, anyways, the guy is supposed to hold you from underneath your thighs, right? And he's supposed to do a lot of the work from underneath. And it was so funny because I told this kid, I stopped the whole production. I was like, kid, you're killing me. I'm fucking in my 50s, right? You got to help a bitch out here. I can't do this all on my own, even though I do go to the gym all the time, right? Right. And so it was so funny because then I showed him how to do his job and he was like, oh my God, this is so difficult. I'm like, yes, that's when you're doing your job right. I'm like,
Yeah.
go to the
Right.
gym, go to the gym like Mistress Mommy does and, put the work in to be able to do the job and to do the job right. So, yeah. So I hate, reverse cowgirl. Like, I get it. And you know what else I don't like about it too is the way that they shoot it now. Yeah, like you have to take your shoes off. And I'm from the 90s and I like trying to keep my heels on as long as
Ah. Okay.
so the second that you have to do reverse cowgirl, there's no way that you can keep your shoes on because you
Mm.
have to like jump with your feet like on the bed in order to get it's a very awkward, uncomfortable position. There's no way that you can actually enjoy what you're doing in that
Hmm.
position. It's like being an acrobat at that time. It's very like a mechanical act that you're doing for the camera. You're making sure that everything is in cooperation, moving in the right way and trying to hold yourself up. And yeah, it's a very difficult position. But, I am all about the art of what I do. And I want to give my, and I want to give my fans what they want to see. And I know it's an amazing thing to be able to look at when when you are the participator of it. And I want them to have what they want. And I know
Okay.
they love it. So, I'm willing to do it. But throughout my life, I'm like, you get 4 minutes to the director. You get 4 minutes. Where's my timer? I'm done with this.
All right. Have you ever had to do a scene with somebody you absolutely hated, just despised?
No, because I
Not
would
at
say
all.
no. No,
Oh, you
because
would
you have
just
a choice to say no. And I would never
yeah.
do that to myself. I think another aspect of longevity is making sure that you're never doing anything that you're uncomfortable with, because that's a surefire way to get yourself into therapy and to be on one of those podcasts
Mm.
talking about how, this business ruined you because either you were not self-aware enough or you weren't strong enough or whatever it might be. You ended up in a situation of doing things that you were not ready to do or you weren't comfortable with. And thank God for myself, I've never had that happen. I didn't even do my first DP until like 5 years ago.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I still have never done, I did the world's largest, most extravagant foot job gangbang, but I've still never done a regular gangbang. And I kind of want to do an Asian one now that there's enough Asian boys to actually do one. But,
Whoa.
you know,
Why?
because I love Asian men.
Really?
I love
That's a
Asian men
first.
and women. Even though I know you're not supposed to say that because it's like ethnic appropriation, but
Oh, who
I've never
cares?
met an Asian man that's like, oh, I'm very offended that a hot blonde porn star said that she likes Asian men.
Oh
So
no, no. But usually a girl's preference is mostly like, Italian or black or somebody big and strong and masculine. Usually it's not a
I mean,
little skin
I take
Asian
those
guy.
bitches down. I take those bitches down too. I mean,
Yeah.
I got 4 trophies on my mantle for dominatrix. So I've got a
Okay.
dungeon in the room right next to me. But yeah, I'm the dominant one.
Okay. Now, what about the opposite? Have you ever did a scene with somebody that you actually caught a lot of feelings for?
Okay. There was a one guy back in the day. I didn't catch a lot of feelings for him, but woo, I was like, I'm taking this boy home and I'm keeping him as a boy toy.
Uh,
And then I got blacklisted from going on gay and bisexual sets because I kept on taking guys that were gay for pay and like making them like my boy toys and then helping them find their way into the straight side. And so like the gay directors were like, this bitch is no longer allowed on our set. She's taking our guys and bringing them off to the straight side, you know. And this guy, I helped him negotiate the highest paid male contract ever at that time with Metro. And he caught feelings for me. And I'm like, honey, you're a boy toy. You're not a boyfriend. There's a difference. And then he ended up marrying after I got him that contract. And then I was like, okay, mommy's done with you. He ended up marrying a very famous porn star. Oh, no, he dated her and then married a very famous porn star. And I don't know what happened to him. He was really gorgeous when I had that young boy and I took him off the gay set. But then, you know, porn got to him and, you know.
yeah,
Didn't look,
it's
didn't
a
look so
whole
great over the years.
it's a whole different world. It's unbelievable because usually girls don't like guys that are bi. They usually like very masculine men that don't want to be gay, right? But it's a whole different
I
universe.
think things have changed too.
Right, it's a whole different universe that you're in,
I think there's a lot of very strong women today that appreciate a man that can cook and clean and
No.
have good
No,
communication skills.
no, definitely not.
I disagree highly.
What was
It's
what
a
was I gonna
different
say?
time. How old are you?
I am older than you think.
How old are you?
48.
48. Yes. So
Yeah.
there is something called Generation Z.
Yeah, I know.
And they're very
Yeah.
different than us. They're very different than us. So, and
Yeah.
I think it's good. I think it's good. I think it's
To each his own.
not, I think that, you know, being pushed to act a certain way because of your gender is unhealthy. Like, I feel like you should just act the way that emanates through your essence and your soul.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of masculine women and there's a lot of feminine men. And the masculine women need feminine men.
Well, that's inevitably what happens. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I love my feminine men. The guy that I'm marrying, he cooks and cleans. He does the laundry.
Yeah.
He serves
Yeah.
me like lunch while I'm doing my Zoom meetings. I love
Yeah.
it.
That's inevitably what happens. That's
Yeah.
when you have a very dominant woman, she wants a man
Yeah.
that's like submissive. Yeah, and vice versa. Usually when you have a man that's very masculine, he usually wants a woman that's very
Very
submissive.
feminine.
Right?
Yeah, because otherwise
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
butt heads all the time. and that's
100%.
not fun.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
not fun. Yeah. I
Okay.
just want someone to be a good
Last fun
boy.
question. Last fun question.
Okay.
The most embarrassing thing that ever happened to you.
Well, this is one that I actually remember, being that I do not remember my 20s, 30s, 40s. I have a really bad memory and I did a lot of drugs and alcohol in my youths. But yes, so back when I could be embarrassed, I don't think I can be really embarrassed anymore. But back in the day, I remember I used to work with this one guy all the time. And then he told me that he had this best-selling video of me. And he goes, and you know, one of the things that really confuses me why it sells so good, because you've got toilet paper in your pussy throughout the entire time. What? What? That's a best-selling only one, and my fat cunt has got fucking toilet paper. It's eating up toilet paper inside of it. Lord.
all right.
Yeah, so
All
that was
right.
embarrassing. And after that, I said, I can't be embarrassed anymore.
Oh, here's a good question. And then I promise we'll get to the drones.
Okay.
Have you ever been with somebody and then you found out later he had an STD and was very, very irresponsible?
No, but back again in my youths, when I was doing a lot of drugs and alcohol, and I've always had like slave boys and bisexual boys and all that kind of thing around me. I had a friend who I knew was HIV positive, and one of my boy toys I knew had sex with him.
Mm.
And at that point, I ended up handcuffing that individual that I knew was HIV positive, that he was not in tune with the concept. He was in denial, and I handcuffed him to my couch, and I made him he was in the fashion world. He wasn't in the adult world. I made him go to talent testing. Back then it was something else, but more or less talent testing for talent. And I paid for it. And of course, he was full blown HIV. And then at that point, me and my boy toy, we ended up doing what was called this HIV cocktail back then. Oh my God, it was awful. So then the two of us took that, even though I hadn't had sex with him without like a condom or whatever, I was still like
Very nervous,
being
sure.
super, yeah, I was just like, because the other guy was so like at the height of where his HIV was, like very, what do you call it? When they can give it contagious, right? And so both of us ended up doing that HIV cocktail, and that was like doing chemo. They make it sound all cute with the word cocktail, but it was no fucking cocktail.
I get, because when I interviewed Ginger Lynn, I asked her the same question, and she actually did a scene with John Holmes after he was HIV positive and he didn't tell anybody, and she was extremely nervous, and she went and got tested and whatnot, and she was fine. But
Well,
that's got to
see, for
be.
me, I was a condoms only performer for 20 plus years.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I was like the longest running condoms only performer. So yeah, I did do scenes with quite a few people that became HIV positive, but I never was worried about it because I had always used a condom.
Right,
And
right,
I never
right.
did, and I never did drugs and alcohol on set.
Mhm.
But at my home, where
That was
there
different,
was
yeah.
drugs and alcohol, and maybe I could have blacked out and things may have happened, that was back in the 90s of Diddy times,
Oh
and
God, I can imagine.
there
Oh
was a
man,
lot of, GHB was popular.
that's right,
And
and it was legal.
yeah, I
You
used to
could
buy
just
it by
go
the
buy it
gallon.
over the counter.
I used
Yeah,
to buy it by the gallon. I used to have 2 gallons at my house at all times, and they'd make it
yeah,
in their bathtub, get it from GNC.
yeah.
So
That's
it
right.
wasn't like someone was drugging me. I was drugging myself. And I used to always say, don't stop fucking me because I'll wake back up. And if I find you out in my living room jerking off to some other bitch in porn, I'm going to be pissed off. So just keep fucking me and I'll wake up. It's fine.
Jesus. Okay. All right.
That's a Gen X motherfucker,
That's
right?
all. You ain't kidding. That's for sure. Yeah.
Those were different times, kids. Those were different
Yeah.
times.
Oh, it's night and day. It's night and day. Even like it's just I can't tell you how many times I've talked to a guy like in his late teens, early 20s, maybe at the gym, never approached the girl, never dated a girl, never talked, and I'm like, never got into a fist fight. I was like, you never got into a street fight. Like by the time I was 15, I had a dozen
Right,
fights.
dude, me too.
It was
But I don't know if that was good or not. I mean, it probably was to a certain extent to toughen you
yeah,
up a bit,
exactly. Yeah.
but
But
I
it's
don't
just,
know if they really need to be tough anymore. They need to have AI skills. They need to
yeah.
have programming skills. They need different skills than we did in
Well,
order to be able
they
to
need some.
survive.
Yeah, I agree, but I think they need some socializing skills too.
Yeah, I do
Because
agree.
they
But
don't
everything's just going to
socialize
get more
well.
digitized. I think they need to
I
all be
know.
ADHD
I
and,
know.
really get into AI. I don't think that socialization is as
Priority.
important as it used to be. Yeah, I think
I
the
agree.
world is going in a different direction, and the
Yeah,
universe
it's
is making people the way that it needs in order to adapt to the times that are coming.
And you know what's funny is that you said that right now. There was like one or two times there were a girl at the gym, and I had to talk to her, and I wasn't it would be like how much more do you have on this machine,
Right,
or
exactly, something minimal.
and
And she's
they
like,
were,
ah, guys, help
yeah,
me. Oh my
exactly,
God, here
yes,
to talk
like
to me.
the look of fear. And I
Yeah,
remember this,
exactly.
I
Just
remember
because
this,
they're,
and I'm like, my God. Then I realized, I'm like, because she was young, she's probably in her 20s, and I'm like,
yeah,
those guys don't approach girls anymore. And I'm like,
yeah, they don't.
it's
Yeah.
unbelievable. Anyway, okay, your
But I'm a
favorite time.
loud bitch. I talk to everybody at the
Well, I'm
gym.
glad
Everyone
because
knows me.
you made my job a lot easier today. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I'm a talkative bitch. I'll talk forever. You know,
Good.
because I lived alone for 30 years. So, and I work alone most of the time. And even though I love my dogs and my cats, they're not as chatty.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it. So I live in New Jersey, and you have this interest in the drone thing, and I'd say
Absolutely 100%.
I said about a week ago,
They were
uh,
talking about
we
the
started seeing these things.
yeah, around December 9th, it seems like it's really started popping.
Yeah, and my wife, comes home and she says, "There's drones outside and blah blah blah." And I'm like, "What the hell are you
Oh, so
talking
your
about?"
wife saw it, yeah?
Yeah, my wife saw it. My wife was driving home from work, and they were talking about it. My wife owns a beauty salon, and
Okay.
they were talking about it at work, and I'm at work. I'm a sewer worker in New York City, so I'm underground all day. Nobody was talking about
Yeah, so you
drones.
ain't seeing shit, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So she
No
comes home and
wonder
she's
you're
like,
so masculine. You're a
"Yeah,
steel worker. You're in the union and you're in Jersey.
that's right, exactly." I'm originally from Brooklyn, so
Yeah, so you're trying to keep the what do you call it? The
testosterone
male.
alive.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, unnecessary. Unnecessary. Go do my laundry, bitch.
So
But I feel you. I feel you.
so she comes home and she's like, there's drones out. I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about? What drones?" So she goes, "Come outside." So I go outside, and it's freezing in New Jersey, New York, right? And she's like, "Look up there." It's like, I'm like, "That's probably a plane." And she's like, "It's not a plane." And
Not a
and then
blame.
before you know it, there was like two, three, four, and I'm like, "What the hell is this?" So then my wife is like, goes down the rabbit hole.
Oh yeah, I yesterday
Oh.
and the night before I went way down the rabbit hole because the thing about it is, right, it's for my birthday. I go to Sedona every year and I went on this UFO tour for my
Hmm.
birthday. And it was very interesting because you have so Sedona is like one of three places in the United States where they have a restriction on how much lighting businesses and everything can have within the city. So it's
Hmm.
very dark out there, and you've got these like super specific kind of like night vision goggles, and you look up into the sky, and obviously you can see, the planes and the satellites because they're going a certain speed and in a linear direction at that speed. So the weather ones are from west to east, the communication ones are north to south, and they can only go so fast and they can only go like on that, linear direction that they can't go zapping all around, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
But then there was like tons of other things that were, and it's
Right.
like, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, those are all UFOs. Right. And he explained that there was like a war going on, and that because it hasn't always been there, it's been more recent. And I'm like, well,
Hmm.
what do you think? Why are they there now? And he's like, there's a war that's happening. And so and I'm like a big AI chat GPT person and Dolly and stable diffusion and the whole nine yards. And, you name it, I'm into it. Right. And I was gonna like talk to Chat GPT about this, that what I saw and try to get more information, but I didn't get a chance. And being I'm somebody that's a total like alien junkie, like I've watched all the documentaries, I've got, everything on my YouTube algorithm that knows that I like this shiznit. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
something popped up like maybe like 5 6 days ago, probably like 6 days ago, right? And it popped up and I thought, oh, this is something that is kind of about like what I saw in Sedona. And I started
Hmm.
listening to it, but it didn't really pop to me of like how many of these are that are happening at this moment and how many people are seeing them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then, like the day before yesterday, I was like, oh, I was like, let me go back to that one YouTube that I was watching and let me finish it. And then I started going down the rabbit hole. And then I saw the congressional hearing that they had. I saw the Pentagon talking about it a couple of times. And then, of course, I went all over TikTok and I, watched everything on YouTube. And then I got on Twitter, and I have some friends of mine who are in the government that have high security clearance that have sent me some stuff as well that I was already on top of anyways, right? But
Yeah.
he sent me some stuff today too that he said is not good, that I still have not had a chance to look at. So
Okay. Well, so now after all that research and going down the rabbit hole, because to be honest with you, my wife has, but nobody seems to know. Everybody knows it's drones, but nobody seems to know where it's from. What
I
do you think? What is
disagree.
it?
Not everybody thinks it's drones, right?
Okay, go ahead.
I think that at the moment, the government and media are using the word drones, but it's a fucking UFO. Let's just UFO. It's an unidentified flying object at the moment, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a couple of different reasons that they are calling it drones, but really it's a freaking UFO because the government is saying that they don't know what it is. But let's be honest, right? If it was a foreign adversary, we have an $830 billion military budget, and in different countries all the time. If anything, this is what we do. We're fucking the United States of America. We kick fucking ass military wise.
That's right.
Right, like if something is going over our military bases for days and days on end, right? And you had the one Congress member and there's been more that have came out saying that 30 to 40, 50 of these are coming out of the ocean, right? And going after naval Navy ships and so forth and so on, like in water, right? A lot of them are coming in and out underneath the Verrazano Bridge, right? So and then you've seen some of the time lapses, and what's crazy is they're not coming from up to down; they're leaving. Right, a lot of them are going from the ocean and leaving. And you're like, why are they leaving? They're not coming; they're leaving. What the fuck is going on? Right. So so it's obviously not a foreign adversary, right? And they've already said that it's not our own.
Right.
So, and it would be very irresponsible if it was some kind of exercise or something like that, of where they're just allowing people like your wife that are because it's not just New Jersey, it's in Oregon, it's in Pittsburgh, it's in Tampa or Jacksonville, a bunch of them.
Really?
Well, oh yeah. So there's a bunch of different places in the United States that a lot of sightings have happened. So why are they allowing the American public to be in a panic, more or less, if it is, some kind of exercise or something that we're doing? The only thing I can think of is that it's either our own, and we've got some kind of threat from foreign adversaries, and we're trying to protect our space. But the other thing is that it's also happening in other countries.
Is it really?
Not the a lot has been happening in the UK as well,
really?
and
in
Australia. Oh yeah. Honey, I go down the rabbit hole. So pop, motherfucker. So because I'm already all into this, I know the places to go to that has like the real reporting of exactly what's going on. So I think, honestly, and if you're anybody that is a UFO alien junkie, there have been so many documented reports of different times in history where UFOs, aliens have stopped nuclear and have watched over nuclear facilities. So I personally think this has something to do with the fact of like World War III, and they are here to put our asses in check, I hope.
Wow. Well, you'll get, that's the best answer I've gotten. Personally,
I did buy a survival backpack the other day because I'm like, you know what, in between this country and its division at the moment, right? Like
Right.
civil war could happen at any freaking time.
Oh, tell me
And
about it. I
then
know.
with AI, I'm very much, like I said, into AI. And, Sam Altman, like everybody that's at the head of Anthropic and OpenAI, all of them say within 20 years, AI is going to take over and we are the second. And I really think that they already have personally in my own,
Mhm.
they are the higher species than we are at this moment. So
Mhm.
between AI taking over, World War III, maybe civil war in this country, I'm like, I'm going to start acting like one of those people and I'm going to have one of those big things in my garage and it's going to, because I've got long nails and shit, right? So be comfortable for the dystopian future. I need to
Yeah.
make sure I've got some like pink guns and like a pink tent and like,
Yeah.
something that's got a tool that does everything for me because it's very dysfunctional having these nails.
Well, you know what? It has been an absolute pleasure interviewing you, and and it's I mean that sincerely. There's very few people that I would invite back, and because I just enjoy the conversation. But you are definitely one of them. It is absolutely my pleasure. I'm so glad you said hello. I've interviewed other girls, and sometimes it's like pulling teeth. You're like, oh, okay.
For all of the very masculine dominant men out there, don't hate me for being dominant.
No, 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 no. It takes all kinds. It takes all
You
kinds.
can't
That's
be
it.
in this business for 34 years and not be a
Good,
dominant
great
man.
point.
You
Great
will
point.
get
Yes.
eaten up and spit out if you are
Yeah.
weak,
Great
So,
point. Absolutely.
you
So what do you want
strong
to
up to the top.
what do you want to plug and what future projects are you going to be working on?
Oh gosh, you caught me off here because I've so not been thinking about business. I've been healing from all my plastic surgery. But I mean, just, I'm constantly always working on my fan platforms and making content, which I'm putting out on clip sites. And, I'm on Blue Sky now as well, which
Mhm.
Brandy Love is too. So that seems to be the new social media platform, which is kind of interesting because it's decentralized and it's not a regular kind of algorithm. So it's very tech, and I love new emerging tech. So it's kind of interesting. So anyways, yeah, if you just look up either Brittany Andrews or DJ Brit Star,
Do you have a LinkedIn on your Instagram?
Not on my main one because they will take your ass down for that. And I've already paid so much money to keep my Instagram and I've lost so many
Ridiculous,
followers.
isn't
It's
it?
such a
It's
racket.
unbelievable.
It's
I
such a
know, it
racket.
really is. Yeah.
I just paid for my secondary one to get it back as well. So it's on my secondary one, which my first one is connected to my secondary one. But yeah, if you just Brittany Andrews, you can actually like jerk off for free to like all the content on me from over 30 years for probably the next 10 years. But if you actually want to, be nice to a bitch, right? This plastic surgery isn't cheap. You can go to one of my fan platforms.
Well, what is your OnlyFans?
Like, yeah, everything's underneath Brittany Andrews.
Oh,
So,
just Brittany Andrews. Okay. All right. Great. Well,
yeah, Brittany Andrews.
Brittany Andrews, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for doing this. It's really an
I have
honor.
OFTV too. So,
Oh, very cool. Okay, so we'll definitely get people to check that out. Thank you very much. And listen, enjoy the weekend. I will try to be in touch. Maybe we could do this again. It is my pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on.
thank you, Sugar Plum. Mwah.
All right, I'll
Thank you.
talk to you soon. Have a good
All right.
night.
Bye.